Hey guys, I'm Lucy Walker and today I am here with the brand new Olivia from Durston Tools, and I want to take a look at what makes this rolling mill just that little bit special. Now, I am a massive Durston fan. I've been buying their tools for about 15 years now, but I just want to give you a heads up. Durston did send me this lovely rolling mill to try out for free. I'm a lucky bitch, I know. But you know me, just because it's free does not mean I'm not going to give you a brutally honest review. And so we're going to dig into the pros and the cons in just a second. Okay, so let's start out by taking a look at the specs. And the Olivia is based on Durston's C130RE rolling mill, which comes as standard with 130mm rollers and a side extension. So the rollers themselves have a 75mm area for rolling flat or using with those texture plates, and then they come with grooves for square wire too. The little extension on the side, this works for half round wire from 1.5 to 4mm. In terms of how big this beast really is, well, from the top to the bottom here, it measures 40 centimeters. But if you count the wheel on the front, it goes to approximately 56 centimeters from top to bottom. In terms of the width, this thing measures about 48 centimeters from end to end here. And if you count the roller in there, it's 61 centimeters. In terms of weight, well, Durston certainly did not scrimp on the steel here, and this behemoth weighs 70 kilos. So when it comes to unpacking and assembly, you are definitely going to need at least 2 people for this job. Believe me, you are not going to get this on the desk on your own. And while we're talking about benches and desks, you want to make sure that you do bolt your rolling mill down. Believe me, you don't want this dropping on your feet. So that's the basics out of the way. Now let's address the massive wheel in the room. Now, most rolling mills will have a handle on the side, like my D4 right here. And yeah, I really do love Durston rolling mills that much. So why have Durston put the wheel on the front? Well, there are a couple of benefits to this. The first being the location of where you can put your rolling mill. You can pretty much whack it anywhere you've got space. It doesn't have to be at the edge of a bench like a regular rolling mill. It does, however, as I already mentioned, have to be firmly bolted down. You do not want this on a flimsy work surface. And the other major benefit to the Olivia is you can actually use this rolling mill sitting down. But I hear you. If having a handle on the front of the rolling mill is such a good thing, why don't all rolling mills have them? Well, that's because most rolling mills would be too difficult to turn if the handle was on the front. You see, the Olivia actually has a 50-to-1 gear ratio. And what that means is it's probably the easiest manual rolling mill to use in the world. And the gears are really what set this rolling mill apart. What's this gear ratio? Well, basically it's quite simple. The more gears a rolling mill has, the easier it is to turn. For example, Durston's C130RE has a gear ratio of 5-to-1. So what that means is for every 5 turns of the handles, the rollers will roll once. The Olivia has an incredible 50-to-1 gear ratio. But every benefit comes at a cost. And because this is such a smooth and easy roll, it is also a very slow roll. So what you have to think about when you're considering if the Olivia is for you is, do you want fast and furious or do you want a little more gentle cardio? And on that note, I guess I should show you just how easy it is to use this bad boy. So we're going to make a little textured copper sample using texture plates from Oregon Trail Silver. And don't worry, in the description below you'll find links to this as well as the rolling mill too, kind of obviously. But just a heads up, I am an affiliate for Durston Tools, so if you do buy a rolling mill, basically that means you're going to keep me in Starbucks for at least another week or so. So here I have a piece of 20 gauge copper, and this is annealed. You really want to make sure you're working with annealed metal here if you want to get a really nice deep print. But before we do anything else, I want to set the rollers to the right distance to get a really nice deep texture. And generally what I'm going to do here is simply set the rollers so that when I stack my copper on top of my texture plate, I can just get the whole thing between the rollers. It's a little tight, but it fits in there. But my advice with this, if you're going to be rolling silver, just do a test piece in copper first, okay? Just make sure you're using the same gauge though. So with our rollers set, what we're going to do is make a sandwich. First up, the baguette. And this is a piece of A4 or letter paper if you're in the US. And it's folded in half and then folded in half again. The first and most important layer of our sandwich is our texture plate. Preferably face up. Actually, not preferably, just make sure it's face up. On top of that, I'm going to add my copper. And then on top of that, I'm going to add some sparkly craft foam. But the craft foam does not need to be sparkly at all. It just needs to be about 2 millimeters or so thick. But hey, this is all I've got handy. But having foam behind the metal is definitely going to give you a deeper impression. Then we're just going to close up the sandwich and feed it to Olivia. But we want to make sure we're feeding this straight into the roller, okay? No going in at any wonky angles here. So I'll just place it between the rollers and hold it gently and simply start rolling. And you can absolutely see here, I am putting hardly any effort at all into this, but it is taking a little time. And this is pretty much what the Olivia is. It's replacing the brute force necessary to operate a regular rolling mill with a gentle cardio workout. And there you go. You can see we've got a super crisp and even roll right there. But with all those gears, that was never really in doubt. Well, after all that, I'm guessing you want to know how much it is and should you be buying one? Well, this bad boy will set you back approximately £1,800, which is about 2,400 US dollars. It's not the cheapest rolling mill that Durston offer. For comparison, if you were looking at a traditional rolling mill with the same specs, you'd be looking at Durston's C130RE, and that would set you back about £1,200. Not sure what that is in dollars right now, but I'm sure you can do the calculations. But which rolling mill is right for you? In all honesty, that is entirely down to you and your physical needs. If you need a rolling mill that you can use sitting down or that's not such a heavy roll, then this is the perfect rolling mill for you. If, like me, you like to work fast and furiously, you're always running around at 90 miles an hour and you need a rolling mill to keep up with that, well, you might want to look at the DRM C130RE. For me, still got my ultimate favourite, the D4. But in all honesty, I think if you're going to buy a Durston rolling mill, whichever you choose, you're seriously never going to be disappointed. And on that note, I am going to say tatty bye for now. Just a reminder, we've put all the links in the description below. And if you did like this video, don't forget to hit the little like button. Alrighty guys, catch you later.